Hey guys, what is up? What is up? What is up? If you're new, my name is Selena. I am a registered nurse here in New York City. And if you're new, please consider subscribing. My page is filled with nursing content, and we're going to sprinkle some other things around on the page as well. So, yes, as you can tell by the title, this video is going to be on some pros and cons of contract nursing. Okay, so let's jump right into it. Don't mind my background. I got some things on my desk that I gotta clear off, so don't pay too much attention into that. As you guys know, I always come with my notes because we here for a good time, not a long time. So I know you guys have things that you need to do, so I don't want to keep you for too long. So, all right, so let's jump right into it. Number one, a pro of doing contract nursing, of course, for me and anybody else who is doing contract nursing, of course, the number one pro is the money. So, while right now it's not the same amount as we were getting during the pandemic, it's still more than what you would be getting as a regular staff member, right? And who doesn't want to make more money, right? Making more money allows you to do things quicker, such as pay off debt, home renovation, save, whatever it is that you got going on. Making more money will allow you to achieve those goals faster, right? So for me, my main goal in doing contracts is I am doing a lot of renovations this year for my home. And also, I have a 16-year-old daughter who is going to be graduating from high school in 2025. So after that, she'll be going to college or trade school or whatever it is that she decides to do, right? And I want her to be able to do these things debt free without having to take out any loans. I don't want money to be an issue. So that's my main goal for doing these contracts is to get the house the way how I want it to be, and to be able to pay for my daughter's schooling after high school, right? So another pro of doing contracts, right, is you get to experience new hospital systems and learn different things, right? So this is especially good when you're at a hospital that has an EMR that you're not really that accustomed to. So while you're doing the contract, you will then become familiar with the EMR, and then you'll be able to put it on your resume, because some places will say, oh, if you don't have Epic experience or if you don't have Sunrise experience, then they won't take you. But if it doesn't specify that in the contract, and let's say you're learning a new hospital, a new system, you're then able, after your 8 weeks or 13 weeks, 16 weeks, whatever the contract is for, you're then able to put that on your resume and say, I have experience using these systems. So, which is always a good thing. It makes you more marketable. It makes you more well-rounded. So that's always a good thing, right? Another pro is you don't have to do all the hospital politics. Like, when you want to go on your vacation, you're able to go on your vacation. You don't have to fight with anybody regarding seniority. Oh, you can't go because this person is going during this time and they have more years than you, so it's given to them. You don't have to deal with all of that. You can just pick up and go. And we only work 3 days a week, right? So you can give yourself a long weekend and, do your three in a row, and then take off however many days you need to do, however many days you need for your vacation, and not worry about it. What I've experienced is, or what I've seen is, a lot of nurses will do 6 in a row and then have 8 days off. So 8 days off, that's enough time for you to, pack up and do what you want to do and go on your vacation and come back without missing any money, you know? So That's always good, not having to fight for seniority. You don't have to stay there if you don't want. Like some people stay at their hospital jobs because they're vested there with well, for whatever reason they stay at their hospital jobs. But for us that are doing contracts, if I'm not liking what's going on, of course it's not never a good idea to break a contract unless you really have to. But after my 8 weeks is up or my 13 weeks is up, I'm free to go and never return if I don't want to. That's always a good thing. So it's like the ball is always in your court. You say what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. You're not held, down into staying somewhere where you really just don't want to be, which is a great thing. Like for me, I like the ball being in my court. I like being able to say, I'm going to stay here or I'm not going to stay here or whatever it may be. I like being in control of my time and, being in control of whatever it is that I'm going to be doing. I don't like nobody to tell me what to do, how to do it, so forth and so on. So once I start getting those vibes at these contracts, I'm like, oh, when my time is up, it's up. I'm skating, never to return, period. That's just how I am. Okay, so that's just about it for the pros. Now let's get into the cons. Also, when we talk about the cons, sorry about that. When we talk about the cons, I am a person who likes to, when I see negative, I try to also think of, on the flip side, a positive as well. So for me, okay, the number one con of doing contract nursing for me has been the floating. They will float you anywhere. And more times than not, like if you don't speak up for yourself, they don't give a good they don't care. They'll just float you anywhere. Like a couple of weeks ago, they floated me to a step down unit. Gratefully, I'm not the type of person to really like shy away from things, but gratefully, like this particular day, these four patients that I had in step down, I could manage as a med surg nurse. I could manage them and it was okay. But I have heard of times where the patients in step down be like sometimes should not be in step down. They should probably be in the ICU because they're critical or whatever the case may be, but for some reason they don't have enough beds. So this patient is in a step down, so it can be kind of hard. But prayerfully and thankfully that Saturday when I was floated to step down, it wasn't like that at all. I really had a good day. My patients were pretty stable and everything was pretty cool that day, right? So the floating sometimes can be difficult. It can be. The second kind I would say for me is the fact that a lot of these hospitals, they don't, off the rip, without knowing you, without knowing your background, they have these preconceived thoughts in their heads when it comes to contract nurses who do contracts, right? So they kind of, when you come in, they'll give you the worst assignment. They'll give you all the isolation patients. They'll do like wicked things like that. And that's why it is so important before you jump into contract nursing, it is so important that you are able to fly alone, right? It's so important that you know how to take care of the sickest patient on that unit. You know why? Because a lot of the times that's who you're going to get. They feel like, oh, she's coming in here, she's making $3,000 a week. Why not? We're gonna make her work for that money. That's the thoughts of these nurses. And that happens all the time. But like I said, it's very important before you decide to branch off and do contracts. It's very important that your skills be up to par, that you know what you're doing, and that you're able to take care of the sickest patient on the unit. because if not, you're gonna be doomed if you do this prematurely, or if you lie about your experience. It can turn out bad. So it's never a good thing to lie about your experience. Do what you do the groundwork. You have to crawl before you can walk. So do the groundwork, get your experience, let your skills be up to par, and then branch off and do your contract nursing. Um, Another con for me would be not having, how do you say, not having like health insurance and stuff like that. I mean, of course, you can always buy health insurance, you can always get health insurance, but it's kind of hard sometimes when you have a whole bunch of bills and you're also paying for health insurance versus being on staff where that's kind of like already taken care of, So that's a con for me. But like I said, you can always buy health insurance. If you have a spouse and your spouse has health insurance through their job and you're able to get on their health insurance, that's always an option. So for me, that is a con right now, because me and my fiance, we are together, but we're not married as of yet. So because we're not married, I'm unable to be on his insurance. He's taking care of his insurance right now, and my son is underneath his insurance. But as for me and my older child, we are, I had to buy insurance for us, and I have to pay monthly. It gets kind of stressful, but luckily I have help to pay it. So, for me, that's a con. Another con is always having to worry about where you're going to work next. Like, okay, I've been here 16 weeks. Okay, I've been here 6 months, whatever the case may be. Now my time here is coming to an end. Now I have to be worrying about where am I going to work next? What kind of people am I going to run into next? I always get like a little bit of anxiety when it comes to that, because it's just like you never know who you're going to run into and what kind of hospital, what kind of workplace is going to be. But once again, on the flip side of that, I always try to, say, okay, you're a nurse, you're a good nurse, you know what you're doing. If the people there like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. It is what it is. You're there to get your money and take care of your patients and leave. So that's it for me, in regards to the pros and cons. What are some of you guys' pros and cons? What have you experienced while doing contracts? I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a story time in my next video, because I recently experienced something that I thought was very, very unfair. Um, and I can almost guarantee that had I had been a staff member at this hospital versus doing contract nursing, I would have not experienced that. So that'll be in my next video. So you guys, drop it down below in the comments and let me know your pros and cons. Which hospitals have you worked at? What has your experience thus far been when it comes to contract nursing? All right, guys. So I catch you in the next one.